care about like the person next to you. Everything's fine.
Good vibes for everybody, you know, regardless of what's going on.
All right, what do we want to do here?
Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other three are just along for the ride. We are here with recently signed Rockies, Dugan Darnell. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. James, say what's up.
How's it going?
Kirk, say hi.
Yo.
So Dugan signed with the Rockies on, I believe, February 9th. On February 8th, it looks like. And I have to ask the question, was it Pitching Ninja, tweeting at Pitching Ninja and getting that out there what got you that contract? Because on February 3rd is when you posted that out, and literally 5 days later, here you are.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he certainly helped. And he kind of emailed me a few times back and forth. He's a great guy. Knows a lot. That tweet certainly helped. But there was a number of other things that were in the forefront for sure.
So that kind of, like, your name was already out there and you were kind of getting feelers and whatnot, because I saw that you were signed with the Gary Railcats.
Right. That's right.
Coming up. And so
yeah.
I guess tell a little bit about like that behind the scenes stuff. I mean, what you can share.
Right. I mean, you know, I had a pretty good 2020 season. Near the end of the season, kind of was in contact with a few teams. You know, mostly all of them said, you know, due to COVID, you know, we can't really tell you, you know, what's what right now. But kind of stayed in touch, you know, was on schedule for my off-season training and throwing. Kind of just continued to send out video. And, you know, I was in contact with a few teams, but the Rockies definitely were the front runner.
And is that from like your interest in the team, or they just were really pursuing you?
I'd have to say both. Yeah, definitely both.
Really, that's pretty cool. Is there anything specific that made you excited about the Rockies specifically?
I mean, yeah, I have a couple buddies that are in the organization right now, and they had nothing but great things to say. You know, after doing a little bit of research, you know, the pitching coordinators and coaches all, you know, it's just a really attractive setting across the board.
Can you tell us a little bit about when you started playing baseball and kind of how things developed for you at a young age, and you know, when it really kind of clicked for you a little bit?
Yeah. So, you know, I grew up in Northville, Michigan. I mean, I'm still here, but you know, I was a shortstop. You know, I was the littlest kid on the team, every team growing up. I was a shortstop, quick little guy, could hit a little bit, and, you know, went to college, went through high school like that, went to college like that, got moved from shortstop to third base because our shortstop is Ryan Doro. He's in the Rangers organization right now. He was a great guy to learn from. But yeah, just growing up, it was, you know, my brother, my dad, my grandpa, we all were baseball fanatics. So it was definitely in my upbringing, and you know, the passion for the game's always been there.
So can you talk about that move from third base to pitching? How'd that happen?
Ironically, I didn't pitch until my senior year of college.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was just like the summer between my junior and senior year of college. I was at a training facility hitting with a bunch of my buddies from the area that we grew up playing together. You know, one of my buddies was like, "Why don't you hop on the mound and see how it goes?" And I think I threw like 5 pitches in like the low to mid 90s, and they were like, "You should probably do something about this." So I went in and told my coach at Adrian and fall ball, you know, I threw, you know, I was having a hard time with arm care because I had never done arm care before. I mean, like, I'd throw like 10 pitches and my arm would be hanging. So we had to get some arm care, you know, under my belt. And then came the spring. I only threw fastballs in college. So, but it worked out great. I mean, I went from playing third base for 8 innings and would close the ninth and just throw fastballs and compete. But that's how it all started, really.
You got to have some zip on that. Then if you're only throwing gas, like Mariano Rivera type stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing, I mean, it was a little bit of both between zip and the competition and just pounding the strike zone. It was effective. I mean, I wouldn't strike out everybody, but I would get outs, and that's all that really matters, late in games. So that was where it all started, really.
So you throwing 4-seamers or 2-seamers or what? What do we got on the menu?
Yeah. What's your arsenal now? Yeah. Just go and just share your whole arsenal. Right.
So my arsenal is a fastball, and then my second pitch is a splitter, and then slider and curveball. Okay. But yeah, I learned the curveball first. It was like a super slow, like 68 mile an hour pitch, but it was good because, it would throw hitters' timing off. But, I wasn't going to play because it pops out of my hand, and, good hitters will be able to see that and sit on it. So then I developed the splitter, which is the best pitch to tunnel off my fastball. And then the slider is relatively new, but been working with, some of the pitching coordinators, both from the USPBL and the American Association, and all those pitches are come a long way for sure.
So
what's your favorite pitch to throw right now?
Splitter is my favorite in terms of, I can throw it in any count really. And I can throw any pitch in any count, but the splitter is definitely a good fastball count pitch because it looks like a fastball until the very end. But there's nothing really better than watching a hitter's knee buckle with the curveball. Yeah.
So splitter, are you gripping it on the narrow side of the seams and then just splitting out your fingers as far as possible and throwing it that way?
Yep. It's like
and then you just feel it roll off your middle knuckles or what?
Yeah, I kind of let it roll off my index finger. Just kind of throw it like a fastball, rip straight down through the middle of the ball, and then you naturally pronate as you're throwing, so that kind of helps, and it just rolls off the middle inside of your index finger, and that's what gives it kind of like the side spin that kind of tumbles and drops.
How about blisters? Do you ever have any issues with that as far as kind of having your
yeah
or what?
I mean, I get a pretty good callus on my index finger, and it splits my nail, ironically. But
okay. Yeah. So how about the curveball? Where are you holding that? Are you putting your fingers on the wide side of the horseshoe and just spinning down? Right. Or what?
Yeah. Yep. Just along the horseshoe on the inside part of it, and I kind of stick my fingers together. It's like a traditional curveball, and just kind of straight down like you're dropping a hammer. Just kind of get that 4-seam spin, come straight down.
So is yours more like a 12-6 type variation?
Yeah. Yep. The curveball is 12-6, and then I try to make the slider as horizontal as I can. So
right. So I'm not nearly as good as a pitcher as you are, but when I would throw a curveball, I'd go straight down. But then when I'm trying to throw a slider, I'm trying to figure out a fastball type. I'm trying to throw a fastball and a curveball at the same time.
Yeah.
Kind of what you're dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I picked up the slider about less than a year ago. So I'm still, I was still playing around with grips and all that, but what's worked for me is just trying to, feel out, like staying straight down through it, like a fastball, but then having your finger pressure on your middle finger. So that way, instead of like getting off to the side of it and it kind of gets like loopy on you, you get down straight through it and you get that spin, and it's where it's sharp. So that's what I've been trying to work on.
I'm sure you flirted with a lot of different pitches. Have you ever tried to change up or anything like that?
Yeah, I have. But I can't really throw it because I have a broken pinky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I broke in my sophomore year of college. I stole third in the the third baseman stepped on my hand and broke my pinky. So
Wow.
yeah,
You
I
were,
think
you were safe though, right?
I was, yeah.
So it was worth it.
It was a bad throw. I went out in the outfield and I ran home with a broken pinky.
Oh man.
Stuff like that.
I did want to ask you, like, I mean, were you a good hitter going up,
Yeah.
and then you just happened to be a better pitcher?
Yeah, I was All-American in college. I think my senior year, I had 4 home runs, 12 doubles. I think I hit 320 or 325 or something like that.
Man, you just think about when you're playing in Coors, just hitting dingers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a couple of dreams like that.
Yeah, I have your stats pulled up right now, and you're you can rake, man. You can rake. Do you miss it at all? Like,
I do, yeah. Ironically, yeah, hitting BP was probably the best stress reliever I think there is, honestly.
I never even
I
thought
know,
about that.
yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. That's like just going to the cages is just a happy place.
it is, yeah. But I don't miss striking out. That's what I don't miss.
What's the biggest thrill for you? Hitting that dinger or getting that strikeout? Throwing the strikeout.
I mean, I'd have to say a home run. I mean, there's nothing probably more satisfying than that. But and as far as like a dominating feeling, I mean, striking out the side is one of my favorite feelings of all time.
Yeah, I've never experienced that, so I had to ask. I haven't experienced either one, so I could hold my own on the field, but I never dominated, as you said. So no, that's pretty cool. It said that you threw, like you said, you started like throwing 90s, and then you've gained a few miles per hour on your fastball over the last year or two.
Right.
What are you doing to do that? Like, I know you're meeting with a bunch of coaches, but like, how do you grow that much with that speed, man? That's crazy.
Well, it's a number of things, but basically it's one, training. I got in contact with one of my old teammates who set me up with a nice training facility out here. It's called 2SP, where we kind of just went through hip mobility, shoulder mobility, core stability, and then overall just strength training. So I put on like, I think 25 or 30 pounds since I graduated, became more mobile. That also, helped me with recovery and obviously velocity. But then the biggest thing was it's called DVS. It's a like mechanical structure from the USPBL. And, like I said, I was pitching for like a year before I started in the USPBL. So all I would really do in college was just get on the mound and throw the ball as hard as I could. That was it. I didn't really know, like anything mechanically or like anything really. Like if I wasn't throwing a strike, I would just try to focus harder. That's it. And, so once I got, to the USPBL, it was good to like both understand mechanics and how my body's moving and understand how to like leverage what I have better, be more efficient kind of. So those are the big things.
That's everything that I never even thought of. That's got to be a lot of work. Like, do you just spend hours on hours at the facility, at the training stuff, at the training with the training staff, and just work and work and work? Like,
yeah, it's like 4 or 5 hours a day for the whole, everything. So I get to the gym and I'll do my yoga based stretching and everything else. And then, you go into your arm care routine, then you go into throwing, then you go into your workout, then you go into your recovery side of things. So it's about 4 or 5 hours each day. And that's kind of how I got on the path to honestly just being a better pitcher instead of a thrower.
That's cool to hear, because it really kind of puts in perspective how much hard work you actually have to put into it to really see, results to where you're actually signing a contract. So if there's anybody watching that's, young and trying to figure out what it takes, they got to be realistic with it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's a lifestyle, it's like any industry, if you want to be successful in any industry, you gotta make it your lifestyle. So there's obviously hard work is there. Passion is a big thing, because if you're not having fun, it's not worth it. But you got to have fun with it, and just whatever works for you. There's not like a specific science to it. Just what works for you, and what you see is like being really efficient and effective for your body, because that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Hopefully my cousin out in Novi is listening to this. He's a 8th grader, 9th grader, big baseball kid, big sports guy. And the fact that he's Novi, Northville, like hopefully he's listening and hearing that. Keegs, take note, man.
Love that.
So I got a couple questions for you. So do you like working out of the windup, or what's your preferred motion there? Do you feel a difference when you're going from the windup to the stretch?
Right. No, really, honestly. I mean, like, basically you just have to keep working on, I work on all three. I have the wind up, the stretch, and then slide step. And so all three I work with in catch play. So just trying to feel it out, like, every day, something doesn't feel right, or you got to do stuff over and over and over to get it to be like muscle memory. So that, in any situation, if there's nobody on, runner on first, runner on second, whatever it might be, I'm not really thinking about what feels different and whatever else. I'm just thinking about what I have to think about throwing strike and getting outs.
So do you just automatically go from the wind up if you don't have anybody on base, or will you just work out of the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, in college, in my first year, I just did the stretch. But now I've gotten a better feel for the wind up. And the wind up's kind of a confidence thing too. There's nothing really more, fulfilling or the dominating feeling than kind of stepping on the mound and being square to your target. For me, it's a big thing, mentality wise. So I go all three.
So what's your approach for when you have runners on? Like, what are you looking for when you throw over? What are you looking for when you're checking runners, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, since I was a base runner at one point, I know that as a base runner, I'm looking for the same count. When pitcher comes set, he's going 1 second, 2 seconds, and then he goes home. If he's doing that consistently, I'm on the second or third pitch, I'm gone on 2 seconds. So I try to mix up my looks, come set, 1 second, go, come set, 4 seconds, go. That's one big thing. And then another thing is just like being as efficient and quick as I can to the plate and pounding the zone.
Do you ever feel like that messes with you when you're pitching, when you're thinking about the runner too much or something like that?
No, yeah. No, it doesn't mess with me at all. I just know what he's thinking. So it's not really bothering me. I think I picked off maybe like 3 or 4 times all of last year.
Yeah.
I didn't really have to pick off because,
nobody was on. You posted
right.
a .31 ERA. Nobody was on base, man. You don't need to be humble about that. Come on now.
Yeah. But I just try to make it a point to, change up my looks and kind of, if a runner is, looking like he's trying to go over and over, and for some reason he goes and I don't pick, I'm quick enough to the plate where my catcher is going to have good enough chance to throw him out.
Yeah, strikeouts are cool, but there's nothing more satisfying than picking somebody off.
That's right. Nothing more frustrating than getting picked off. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you just walk back to the dugout with your head down, like coach is gonna let you have it.
That's
and I feel
right.
like I think James has got a kind of a alternative motive at asking all these questions. I don't know if you did your research on us, but James plays in the adult league out where he is. pitches sometimes. So I think he's trying to get all these tips and tricks
Yeah,
here.
I had a 7 ERA this last summer, so things are looking good.
You just gotta post it up on Twitter, man. And
Yeah.
before you know it.
Yeah,
7
pitching ninja. Here's my 50-mile-an-hour curveball.
Dugan, I gotta know, what was it like signing that contract, and how did that all play out? Being Zoom quarantine and all this, and you finally get that moment. Like, what was that feeling?
I mean, it was just surreal, honestly. It's still surreal, but it was just one of those times where, I got the phone call and my heart kind of dropped. It was, it was something I've been dreaming about for a very long time, and countless hours of work and blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of great people I've met along the way. A lot of teammates that pushed me, a lot of coaches that pushed me, trainers. It was just kind of like the perfect storm, honestly. And it was just a very, wholesome feeling, very surreal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any idea where you're starting this season? Like, where you're going to be in a month and 2 months? Like, where you headed?
Yeah, I mean, no, they haven't told me anything. I don't think they've told anybody really anything. We don't even have a set start date, really. We're assuming there's, speculation on when we're going to start, but I mean, basically they just said, come to spring training, everybody come to spring training, and after spring training we'll figure it out. So
all right, so when you headed down there?
Probably end of March.
Okay.
Wow.
Sweet.
I can't even imagine what that's like. Like, you're going to spring training,
That's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's it's I try to, I'm just speechless, honestly. I try to think about it all the time, like in a fan's perspective, but then I'm like, no, this is my job. I worked for this. I'm trained for this. So that's kind of the mentality I'm going into spring training. Like, there's going to be guys that I've watched on TV, but I'm here to do my job, and I'm trained to do this job. So I'm going in there with all the confidence in the world and kind of letting the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, exactly. You can't ever think that you don't belong there, and you do belong there. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just talking to you and reading all the stuff when we were doing our research on you. Like, it sounds like you have the good mindset. You're obviously very humble and aware, and just you've got that mindset. I think that's going to set you up for success. So
yeah,
I mean, I know I'm rooting for you. I'm probably going to speak for James and Kirk with that. Like, we're going to be watching Darnell wherever you're at, and just be rooting for you and do your thing, man. This is pretty cool.
I do. I definitely do. And I know there's a lot of work ahead of me. I'm not going to just roll in there and go straight to the big leagues. I wish, but that's
who knows,
that
man?
would be a dream, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It's definitely a grind. And so you're going to be all right if we check in with you mid-season, see how things are going?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate your guys' support a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you grew 3 new fans, and I mean, we're going to spread your word as much as we possibly can. I want to end with this. I want some lighthearted, quick questions with you. So you answered these questions at Adrian. I have a few questions about some of your answers, but I mean, that might be another time. Who's your favorite athlete still now?
Like current athlete?
Just your favorite athlete of all time. Let's go all time.
Derek Jeter.
Okay, that hasn't changed. What's your favorite movie?
Anchorman.
Okay, hasn't changed. And God, I hope this changed, man. What's your favorite food?
I have to think about this one.
Good.
I think I'm pretty sure I put sushi down.
No.
No?
No.
Pizza.
Is that your favorite pizza? Is that your favorite food now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, you've upgraded a little. Chicken noodle soup back in 2015 or 16.
No.
I don't.
No.
You don't even remember it.
My mom probably paid me to say that.
Where's the Where's the Campbell's Chunky Soup sponsorship
Right.
at?
Right. Get this man
Yeah.
signed up.
They must be watching. I don't know.
I had asked those questions, but man,
Yeah.
seriously, I appreciate your time and all the best wishes and all the good luck your way. And like we said, we'll be watching you. We'll be watching those stat lines, and we're going to be updating everybody as much as we possibly can. Like, this story is great, going from D3 to independent ball to the Colorado Rockies, man. Let's go, right? Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you.
Talk to you soon, man. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you, man. I appreciate
See you
it.
guys.
Good luck.
Thank you for watching. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple's Podcast, or Google Podcast by looking up Blake Street Banter. Thank you.